Khadijah radiallahu anhu was carrying a tray of food to the Prophet ﷺ when Jibreel alayhi salam came to give the Prophet the glad tidings of a palace in Jannah prepared for her and where she would be served. Reflect on the Prophet ﷺ's injunction upon arrival in Medina. Spread salam and feed the people, and picture the one who fulfilled that call not only to people at large but specifically as she served the Prophet. Consider then the reward prepared for her, and imagine the nourishment that awaits her in paradise. Imagine sitting with her in her sitting room with the Prophet ﷺ and the angels serving all of you together. You enter Jannah and wish to feast. All you need to do is ask for the chefs of Jannah, prepare whatever you request. Whether your craving is biryani, maqluba, mandi, burgers, durian, or jollof rice, name it, and it will be produced exactly as you desire. You may even be served foods you never encountered in this world. Just as you cannot have wine here, but can there, nothing in Jannah is off limits. You will have what you want. Are the foods of Jannah like what we have here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an that whenever they are given a fruit, they say, "This is what we were given before." That statement indicates that the fruits are recognizable by name and outward shape, yet their internal reality, their taste and essence, is elevated beyond anything of this life. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said that in paradise nothing resembles the things of this world except by name. Some scholars add that the higher one's rank in paradise, the more exotic and incomparable the fruits become, to the point that no earthly thing can serve as an apt comparison. This is like the difference between an American mango and a Pakistani or Bengali mango. The name may be the same, but the experience is profoundly different. When the Prophet ﷺ underwent Miraj, things became progressively indescribable. Trees and colors at Sidrat al-Muntaha escaped worldly comparison. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned bananas and then clusters of grapes. A Bedouin, hearing that grapes would be in paradise, asked with eagerness, "O Messenger of Allah, grapes?" The Prophet confirmed and described a cluster whose length a crow could fly for a month without tiring, an image intended to expand our imagination about the magnitude of blessing. Each time a fruit is taken in Jannah, it is immediately replenished. Tree branches lower their bounty so that the dwellers do not need to exert themselves. Just as people here had to climb and labor for good deeds, in the hereafter the fruits descend to them without effort. These are the people who reached for faith even when it was difficult, the ones who held fast to belief as if it were a burning ember. For them Allah transforms striving into effortless reward. If these are the fruits, what of the cooked meals? Astonishing scenes await. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah will take the entire place of assembly from the Day of Judgment and turn it into a single loaf of bread. Then cast it to the people of paradise to eat, so the very earth of that day becomes a welcome portion. When asked about the first meal in paradise, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned a bull that is now grazing in Jannah and will be sacrificed upon arrival. He also spoke of a whale whose liver is sufficient for 70,000 people, a rare delicacy, sometimes called kabid al-hukhut. Such images may seem odd to those with current culinary preferences, but in Jannah these provisions are perfect and desired. You might ask, do people hunt in paradise? Will one need implements or weapons? No. The Prophet explained that desire alone is enough. Glance at a bird in paradise and wish for it, and it will drop onto your plate roasted to perfection. The birds there are magnificent. The Prophet ﷺ said their necks are like the necks of camels. Umar radiallahu anhu remarked on how blessed those birds were, and the Prophet ﷺ replied that those who eat them are doubly blessed. In short, the provision in Jannah is immediate, effortless, and tailored to each person's wish. Beyond foods, we recognize there are buffets of dishes unknown to us. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said that 70 golden dishes will circulate among the dwellers, each vessel containing a different dish not found in the others. Remarkably, in paradise, there is no weight gain, no waste, no bloating, appetite. There is pure desire, a delight without bodily consequence. The vessels themselves are objects of beauty, crystal goblets and golden platters, splendid to behold. The ewers are translucent so that you can see the contents within, and they pour out exactly the measure that suits the one who drinks not a sip more nor a sip less. Servants circle gracefully, attending to the dwellers, while the platters and cups themselves are crafted to be pleasing to the eye and soul. What would you drink with your meal in Jannah? Picture a menu of mixed beverages drawn from the rivers and springs of paradise. Some drinks are flavored with camphor, others come from the spring of Salsabeel, and Tasneem is the special drink reserved for the Muqarrabeen, the closest of Allah's servants. The Quran describes people being given a sealed drink of pure wine, whose seal is musk, presented with the name of the recipient inscribed, and whose final taste is of musk. This is a wine without the harms we know in this life. It does not intoxicate or corrupt. Instead, it is a source of refined delight. Allah tells people to compete for this, to vie for what is truly worthy of striving, not the fleeting wine and wealth of this world, but the blessed banquet and closeness in the hereafter. Note how things forbidden or harmful here are transformed there into pure blessings. Substances and experiences that would be damaging or sinful in this life are rendered wholesome and sanctified in Jannah. Musk becomes a perfuming seal for a noble cup, wine becomes a non-intoxicating nectar, and foods that are unfamiliar or unpalatable here become unmatched delicacies there. The metaphysical order of paradise changes the meaning of many things. Their essence is purified and suited to the dwellers who are themselves purified by faith and righteous action. Scenes of hospitality and service thread through these depictions. The Prophet advised against eating and drinking from vessels of gold and silver in this life, noting that such abundance is for disbelievers now and for the believers in the hereafter. The admonition is moral. Do not indulge in ostentatious luxury here when such things are reserved by divine ordinance for the eternal abode. Instead, be among those who serve others, feed the hungry, and spread peace. These actions are the practical means by which one attains the station of those who will be served in paradise. Khadijah radiallahu anha, who brought food to the Prophet ﷺ, exemplifies this principle. Her devoted care translated into unique honor and a palace of reward in Jannah. The images emphasize the link between effort and reward. Those who strove, who held fast to faith even in hardship, will be handed their book in the right hand and escorted to bliss. The fruits and dishes that descend to them are literally the fruits of their labors. What once took exertion and persistence in this life becomes effortless provision in the next. The metaphor of fruits lowering themselves to the righteous captures this reversal. The ascent of good deeds is succeeded by the descent of blessings. The abundance in paradise is not merely material. It is a sign of divine generosity and mercy. Fruits that replenish themselves, animals already grazing and ordained for sacrifice, and birds that fall roasted at desire all point to a ceaseless and immediate provision from Allah. The golden vessels and crystal goblets are not merely trophies but part of a reality shaped for the delight of the soul. There is no contamination, no fatigue, and no diminution. Every delight is complete and perfectly suited to the recipient. Furthermore, the communal quality of these blessings matters. Jannah's feasts are scenes of fellowship. People sit with the Prophet ﷺ, with the angels serving them, and with the righteous companions. The honor of being near the Prophet and sharing in that company is among the highest pleasures. Paradise is thus both intimate and communal. You eat and drink in the presence of beloved ones in a setting of dignity and peace. All of these descriptions converge to teach a moral and spiritual lesson. Serve others now and you will be served by Allah later. Restrain yourself for Allah and you will find incomparable reward. The disciplines of this life, patience and trial, steadfastness and faith, charity and hospitality toward others, are the means by which one prepares to enter the state of tranquil satisfaction described in the Quran. The divine invitation to the tranquil soul is the culminating summons, O tranquil soul, return to your Lord well pleased and pleasing. Enter among my servants and enter my garden. The feast of paradise is thus the consummation of a life oriented toward goodness. Eat and drink there at ease for what you used to do in the days of your trial and striving.